Explaining the second part of the chapter. Pungi was a musical instrument, the predecessor of the Shehnai. When the Mughals ruled India, before the Britishers came, there was a very famous Mughal ruler named Aurangzeb. He did not allow the pungi be played in his royal residence because he felt that it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. So, any musical instrument which is made with reeds, like we have flutes, clarinets, they all are classified as pungi. So, pungi is a broad term for any type of instrument which uses wind to produce sound. As Aurangzeb has banned all these reeded noisemakers, he had banned pungi in his royal residence. No one thought that one day such noisemakers, such instrument which made unpleasant sound, would be played and their sound would be liked by the audience. As the pungi had an unpleasant sound, there was a barber who belonged to a family of professional musicians, and he wanted to play the pungi, but he knew that the sound produced by pungi was unpleasant, and so he decided to improve the sound. This barber took a pipe which was a hollow stem. It was longer and broader than the pungi. He made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Then he blew air into the pipe and closed and opened different holes. He found that soft and melodious sounds were produced when he did like this. When the barber played this instrument in the royal court, everyone liked the sound produced by it. The royal court thought that this instrument was different from the pungi, and so it should have a different name also. Now, there is a story behind the name given to this instrument. This instrument was played for the first time in the royal residence of the Shah. Shah was a name given to king. As the nai, that is the Indian term used for a barber, had played it for the first time, they called it Shehnai. So the first part is Sheh, which stands for Shah, and the second part Nai, that is a barber. So this instrument was named as Shehnai. The sound which was produced by Shehnai was considered to be a good omen, and so it was played on good occasions. You can hear Shehnai being played at many temples and at weddings also. The Shehnai was a part of the Naubat. These 9 musical instruments were played at the royal court, and Shehnai was also a part of Naubat. The Shehnai was played at the king's court, in temples and at weddings. It was used on stage in performances, and the credit for that goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who was a legendary Shehnai player, and people wanted to hear him play the Shehnai. When Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, he lived in an old estate named Dumrao in present-day Bihar state. He used to play gilli danda, an old sport quite similar to cricket. Also, he would go to the nearby Biharji temple. Although Bismillah Khan was a Muslim, he would go to the temple and he would sing this song, Chaita, in Bhojpuri language. When he would finish reciting the song, he would get a big laddu as reward, and the weight of that laddu was 1.25 kg. This was the prize given to Bismillah Khan by local Maharaja for singing the Chaita. The writer says that this incident occurred when Bismillah was 5 years old, that he would get this laddu as a reward. And after 8 years, Bismillah Khan earned the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So, this is the distance that he has travelled in his life. At 5 years of age, he would get a 1.25 kg laddu as a reward, and at 80, he achieved the highest civilian award in India, that is the Bharat Ratna. Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916 in a family of musicians in Bihar. The lineage on his father's side was full of great Shehnai players. We can say that Bismillah Khan ji acquired the skill of playing the Shehnai from his ancestors. His grandfather was a great Shehnai player. He played the Shehnai in the court of the Bhojpur king. His father and all paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Bismillah Khan ji also started learning music at an early age. When Bismillah Khanji was just 3 years old, his mother took him to her parents' house, to his maternal uncles. And when Bismillah Khan saw his maternal uncles play the shehnai, he was attracted towards it and he also wanted to learn playing it. Bismillah Khan started going with his uncle Ali Bakhsh to the Vishnu temple in Banaras. Ali Bakhsh was on a duty to play the shehnai at the Vishnu temple of Banaras. When Bismillah Khan saw his uncle Ali Bakhsh play the shehnai, he would get attracted towards it that he would sit there for hours listening to him play the shehnai. Gradually, Bismillah Khan also started learning playing the shehnai and he would practice throughout the day. He never got tired. He was so captivated by the shehnai. For many years, Ustad Bismillah Khan remained in Banaras. He would visit the temple of Balaji, temple of Mangala Maiya, and would remain on the bank of river Ganga, where he would practice playing the shehnai all by himself. Here we come to know about the talent of Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was so inspired and motivated by the river Ganga, it provoked him to improve his performance, and he also invented many ragas that were considered impossible to be produced by a shehnai. Ustad Bismillah Khan worked hard and invented different sounds with the shehnai. When Bismillah Khan was 14 years of age, he accompanied his maternal uncle Ali Bakhsh to the Allahabad Music Conference. Ustad Fayaz Khan was impressed by his performance and said that if he would work hard like that, he would make a name in the field of music. When the All India Radio started, it's a radio station at Lucknow. Ustad Bismillah Khan started performing from there. Often his shehnai performance would be on air. Ustad Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to greet the entire nation through his shehnai. He played the shehnai from the Red Fort on this memorable occasion. The rag that was played by Ustad Bismillah Khan on the occasion of independence of India was Rag Kafi. He played it from the Red Fort. After his performance, the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his first speech, Traced with Destiny. Bismillah Khan gave many performances in India and abroad. Some of them are memorable, like the one at Afghanistan. The King of Afghanistan, King Zahir Shah, really liked Bismillah Khan's performance and he gifted him many things which were made in Afghanistan, like Persian carpets, etc., so that Ustad Bismillah Khan would remember his first visit abroad, that was to Afghanistan. There were many other people also who were attracted to his shehnai's music. Gunj Uthi Shehnai was the name of a Hindi movie. It was made by the Vijay Bhatt, he was a film director and he really liked the sound of the shehnai played by Bismillah Khan, and that is why he named his movie as Gunj Uthi Shehnai. There was a song in movie Gunj Uthi Shehnai named Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya. It was composed by Ustad Bismillah Khan and became a chartbuster. It broke all records. Although this song was a chartbuster, Bismillah Khan got a lot of success in this film, but he composed music for only 2 films. The names of the movies were Gunj Uthi Shehnai, made by Vijay Bhatt, and a Kannada movie made by Vikram Srinivas called Sanadhi Apana. Ustad Bismillah Khan would say that he did not like the artificial world of films and the glamour that was there in the film world. That was why he did not compose music for many movies. Bismillah Khan got a lot of recognition and was honored with awards. He performed all over the world, in United States and America at the Lincoln Center Hall. He performed in Montreal, Australia in the World Exposition. He performed at the Cannes Art Festival and he also performed in Japan at the Osaka Trade Fair. Tehran is located in Iran. Bismillah Khan was so famous all over the world that in Tehran an auditorium has been named after him. Ustad Bismillah Khan has been awarded with these national awards. When Ustad Bismillah Khan received India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, in the year 2001, his eyes were shining. He was very happy because his hard work had been recognized and he gave an important message to the country. He told all the Indians to teach music to their children because music is the richest tradition of India. He said that even the Western countries wanted to learn India's music. Although Ustad Bismillah Khan ji had travelled all over the world, he was given so much respect and recognition. He remained rooted. Banaras, where he learned music, and Dumrao, where he was born and brought up, were the two most wonderful towns of the world for him. He was so down to earth that although he had travelled all over the world, still he was attached to his birthplace. There was a student of Ustad Bismillah Khan, and he wanted that Ustad Bismillah Khan should set up a Shehnai school in USA. He promised that he would recreate the Temple of Banaras in America for Ustad ji, as he would miss it. Now Ustad Bismillah Khan was attached to River Ganga also. So he asked his student that would he transport the River Ganga also to America? So he wanted to say that he could not leave India. He was attached not only to the temples of Banaras but also to the holy river Ganga. Ustad Bismillah Khan said that whenever he visited any foreign country, he longed to see India. He wanted to return to India. And when he says that when he was in India, in Mumbai, he yearned to visit Banaras and the Ganga river. And when he was in Banaras, he missed his birthplace Dumrao and the Matha, where he sang Chaita and was rewarded with the laddu of 1.25 kg weight by the Maharaja. Here, the writer says that Ustad Bismillah Khan was a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. His work was beyond the religion barriers. Although he was a strict Muslim, he followed the Muslim laws, but every morning he would play the Shehnai at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, which was a Hindu temple. This shows that he did not have the barriers of religion in his mind. He was a true Indian. He considered music to be the India's richest cultural heritage. Ustad Bismillah Khan had been ill for a long time and he died on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90. The entire country mourned the death of the legendary musician. There was a holiday for one day and he was given a state funeral.